Hello, I'm Michael Brown, co-founder of Musikscool. This short video is designed to give you a flavour for one of our events run here at Wellington College, see us in action and to see what can be achieved when a group of business coaches and musicians work together with a team of very resourceful, confident and can-do pupils in just one day. So I'm with Caroline Petrides from the charity Deborah, and she's just going to tell us a little bit more about what Deborah does.
Right, Deborah is a local charity that looks after newborn babies, young children and adults with a severe or non-severe form of EB, which is epidermolysis bullosa. It's a skin condition that where they have no elasticity in the skin, no collagen 7. So we've created a formula, a vaccine that isn't a cure but can actually help stop the blisters on the skin.
Right.
And can look after their skin for about 3 months.
Right.
And that's what we're all about.
Okay. So I gather these blisters can be, debilitating.
Yes, they
Yeah?
can. Very painful. And some of the children have to have strong medication to ease the pain while the parents pop the blisters, and then they have to dress them.
Yes.
And they have this dressing all day, and then they go through the same procedure again because they have to undress them ready to bathe them. So you can imagine the pain and suffering that they go through.
Yes.
For the youngsters and even the adults as well, they suffer.
Okay. Thank you very much.
What, you're going to be confused?
This, Kenny.
History has always been supporting those in need. Condition, come on, make believe. I can't do this without you. The mountain's just too steep. Make a difference. Make a difference. Change your life. Make a difference. Change your life.
It was a fantastic day. The lowest 6 students were wonderful and they showed such spirit, and it was a tremendous day.
Yeah, I think it blew us all away somewhat,
Yes.
not least them, but certainly us as well. I think they took it to new heights. So we know they did 5 brilliant tracks. We heard those at the end of the day.
Yes.
We saw the film, we saw the photos, so everybody thinks ticking the box on that. But the big question is, how did we do on the money? Obviously, monies were coming in. But what did we get to at this
At the
point?
moment, it's £11,700 and it's still rising, which
Right.
is wonderful.
Right.
And the more that people keep donating, the more it goes towards what we need it for.
Yes.
Partly research, which will probably be about £10,000 for 3 months research.
Right.
And the more money that comes in will go towards the care and welfare of
Okay.
the EB community, which we also need.
All right. So any additional funds that are still coming in are going to go towards welfare and support
Yes,
and so on.
definitely.
But you've got about 3 months research earmarked then from that
Yes,
10,000.
yes.
That's brilliant. Murray Fowler, head of lower sixth at the college. So Murray, thanks very much for sparing the time to follow up on this. It's a week ago now, feels longer, doesn't it? You've had a busy week since, I can imagine.
Yeah, absolutely.
But time to reflect now and to maybe hear some thoughts and some feedback from some of the pupils and so on. So first of all, what was your response to the day itself, and to what extent did it meet what you were hoping it would do?
It was, I think I'd describe it as one of the most astonishing days I've had here. I've worked here for 19 years now, and it was one of the best,
Right.
Easily.
Okay.
The theme was very much service. The whole school was off, and I was in charge of 2 service projects that day. Musikscool was one of them. We put a lot of emphasis here on serving and caring for others, and on the basis that the highest rewards and the greatest challenge comes from doing that. And Musikscool was certainly a challenge, pushed the pupils well outside their comfort zones, and in that sense, achieved everything that I hoped it would.
Brilliant. Okay, and didn't they do amazingly?
They did fantastically, and it was the competitive nature of it, I think, that they quite appealed to them.
Right.
Because they had other schools sort of bar there to sort of try and see if they could jump higher.
Right.
And they certainly did.
Yes. I mean, you suggested I was going to go with a 5,000 target, this being the record we'd ever achieved in a school to date, and you suggested just put it out there, see what they think of it, and their response amazingly was certainly go for 10 and maybe go for even more than that. Says something quite a lot about their sort of attitude and culture here, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, they were very quickly on that first sort of briefing session set the bar at 10,000.
Right.
Which is kind of the figure that we'd had in mind together, but I was amazed at how quickly they went for that themselves.
Yeah.
I don't think they all necessarily believed they could do that. I think some of them thought that 5,000 was a push, but there was a real sense of can-do, and certainly once the day started, and once they started to feed off each other, I think there was a real sense of we can do this, we can do this.
Yes.
Let's get to it.
Yeah, and here we are at nearly 12,000, which will be 15,000 time we do the gift aid thing. So, marvellous achievement. What do you think it did for them in terms of learning? What's the outcomes been for some of the folks there?
All sorts, really. I mean, the key thing, and my motto for the year group for the year has been, your reach should exceed your grasp. So taking that and taking the school motto, which is fortune favours the brave.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them really have learnt a lot about the things they can do, and they would never have thought they could have done. Whether it's playing musical instruments, whether it's cold calling people and getting money out of them.
Yes.
And a lot of them have kind of re-evaluating the kinds of things they could go on to do. A lot of the feedback I've had from them certainly suggests that.
Good.
But I had no idea I could do this kind of thing, and now it's set me thinking.
Good. Well, that's why I think what we try and achieve with the event is get people just asking questions of themselves really earlier than would otherwise be the case. And if we've got people doing that, then I'm thrilled to hear it, really.
And having the feedback, another great feature today is actually getting the feedback from the trainers.
Right.
Personal and direct.
Yeah.
Which I'm now busy emailing out to the students.
Yes. Good.
But that's a really nice feature, because it's easy to walk away from a day like this and that's that. But actually, they've now got something that they can stick on their CVs.
Right.
They can even attach the document if they wanted to.
Quite. And it's showing self-awareness and getting them started thinking about personal development.
Absolutely. Yeah. Particularly in the competitive and tough environment into which these pupils will be going out.
Yeah.
It's just, you never know what sort of edge might make the difference.
Yeah, I have to say there were certainly lots of characters that amongst my colleagues who were saying definitely hire that one, hire that one, hire that one. I mean, they shone through, I think, just brilliantly. Took it to new levels for us, and as I say, we would normally think 5,000 would be a good number, but I think it's got to be 10 in future based on what you've shown.
Excellent. Well, some of the quotes from the pupils are, I think, tell their own story. There's one here: the best thing I've done by a mile in my 4 years at the school. It's fantastic.
Right.
I thought £5,000 was a joke, and as for 10,000, that was taking the mick. Here we are, as you say, on 12,000.
Yeah.
Also, this idea that they've created something from scratch, just in a day. One of the kids said, "None of this existed at the start of the day. Look what we've done." So really, really good. I couldn't recommend it more highly to other schools.
Thank you very much. Any sort of words of advice for another school that might be considering one?
I would say absolutely, just clear a day somewhere in the school year. And it fits quite nicely in this after AS exams kind of patch. I think if I've learnt one thing, I might ideally have put it a few days earlier than we had it, just because it ran straight to the end of term, and then there's issues about
producing thousands of CDs and stuff.
But I could not recommend it more highly to other schools.
Thank you so much, Murray.
Not at all.
Pleasure working with you.
Pleasure.
Selden, thank you very much for the time today. We've run this activity last week. Your pupils have achieved an amazing success with the Music School event. They raised nearly 12,000 for Deborah Charity. We've given all this personal feedback, and from talking to Murray here, we gather that it's made quite an impact on them. So just love to hear your thoughts on the relevance of an event like this to the school.
The Music School event at Wellington, I thought, worked very well. It introduced the sixth formers to a range of different activities. It was much about them taking responsibility for their own product and seeing something through. So they were learning about leadership. It was fitted in with the philosophy we have of 8 aptitudes, different styles of different facets of personal and social intelligence and creativity and logical and linguistic. And the fact that it was all for a good cause. We raised a 5-figure sum for the Deborah charity is all in a good cause too. So from my point of view, a good event.